The rain was falling in sheets outside the traveler's tavern, a relentless drumming against the roof that made the lanterns tremble. Inside, the hearth crackled with a deep orange glow, casting long shadows across wooden beams older than any man in the Aro. A group of weary travelers huddled near the fire, boots steaming, cloaks dripping. The old storyteller, a man with a face carved by storms and years, sat in the crooked chair closest to the flames. He leaned forward, the firelight catching in his eyes. "Sit close, wanderers. Nights like this awaken old me." Maurice. He tapped his knuckles on the arm of his chair. "Tonight you'll hear a tale older than kings, older than nations, older even than the churches that claim eternity." He lowered his voice. "Tonight, I will tell you of the Green Man. You'll find him," the old man said, "hidden in places where time grows thick, where the air carries the weight of centuries. In cathedrals carved from cold stone, places built to shelter the Devi." And he pointed to the ceiling as if he remembered standing beneath ancient arches. "But look closer. Not at the saints. Not at the angels. Look into the corners where the candlelight struggles to reach. And there, peering from a tangle of carved leaves, a face watches. A face not entirely human. A mouth that breathes vines. Eyes framed by ivy. That is the Green Man. The silent witness carved into the heart of whole Ines. The storyteller stretched his hands toward the fire. His story begins long before stone cathedrals, long before scriptures, before the world had borders or names. In the mist-soaked groves of the ancient Celts, where the forest was alive with spirits. To them the world was one great breathing being. Every river whispered, every hill remembered, every tree was a door. Way. He traced a spiral in the air. Look at Celtic art and you see faces dissolving into vines, leaves forming brows, spirals be common. GIs. The earliest Green Man was not a man at all, but a dream, a merging of human soul and wild nature. The old man gave a low laugh. Then came Rome, the great orderer, the great build. Straight roads. The attempt to civilize the wild. But he shook his head. Yet even in Roman villas, the wild crept. Back. Leaf masks on walls. Faces of men formed from vines. Gods of the sea carved with hair like flowing weeds. Then his tone softened. In a field in Suffolk they uncovered a silver dish. The face of a god staring from the metal. His beard a torrent of seaweed and leaves. Even Rome could not resist the call of the Gree. And rain boomed outside, timed perfectly with the story. When Rome crumbled and Christendom rose, you would think the old spirits would Ade. But no, he whispered. Something else happened. They multiple. Applied. carved into cathedrals, hundreds, thousands of leafy faces watching from the shadows. Some peaceful, faces almost swallowed by leaf. Yes, some with vines bursting from their mouths, life erupting from stone. And some gruesome, vines tearing through eyes and nostrils, as though nature itself consumed the flesh. What did they mean? And were they pagan memories carved in secret? Or symbols of resurrection, life sprouting from D? Eth. He shrugged. Perhaps both. Symbols are seeds, and seeds grow into what the soil allows. The storyteller tapped his staff on the floor. But stone is not the only place. He lived. There were times, days of festival, days of spring, when the green ma and was flesh. In Tudor England, wild men covered in leaves would lead parades, thundering through the streets with wooden clubs, and laughter that echoed like thunder. Then he grinned, and then came the Jack in the Green, a man hidden inside a towering cage of leaves, dancing through the streets at the dawn of May. He brought good fortune to those who touched his ribbon. And across the Balkans Green George walked, blessing fields, wearing spring itself as a garment. These were not costumes. They were transformatio. And the flames dimmed as the storyteller spoke softer. For centuries, the Green Man had no name. He existed as carvings, costumes, etc. Hose. But in 1939, a woman named Lady Raglan looked at these fragments and realized they were pieces of a sing. The being. She gave him the name we can. Out today. The Green Man, and once named, awoke again, after the world wars, as forests fell, and cities spread. Like iron weeds, the Green Man became a symbol again, protective, ancient, necessary. His face rose again in new buildings, new carvings, new traditions. Environmentalists took him as a guardian. Pagans welcomed him as a god reborn. Artists carved him in cities of stone and and on the invitation to the coronation of King Charles III, his face appeared. Again, a symbol of rebirth, of the land, of the eternal. I'll cycle. The storm eased, only a gentle aray. And remained. The storyteller gazed into the fire. Why does the Green Man endure? He smiled, a slow knowing smile. Because he is not a story we tell, but the story we live. He is the promise that after winter comes spring, that after death life returns. That even when all seems dead, beneath the soil so meeting is stirring. He is the face of renewal, the face of nature's breath, the face that reminds us we are not separate from the world. We are part of its endless tourney. Ing. The fire cracked softly, and if you listen closely, in the rustle of leaves, you might hear him listening,